Work with real addicts, I think, are people involved in this too. How helpful was that? Particularly, you had Brian on set that you consulted as well, Tom. So talk about the aspect of using, doing the research with real people here.
It's incredibly helpful. I mean, drug abuse isn't something that I have experienced in my life. It's not something that people that I've been surrounded by have suffered from. So it's something that I was very new to. So having Brian on set kind of explaining the craving and the feeling and the need and the want and the necessity, and that everything in your life becomes about how do I get heroin. It was a really, really interesting process. And it's a problem that affects so many people, and it's right on our doorstep, and it's something I didn't know that much about. I mean, growing up for me, drug abuse was always about rock stars, and it was sexy, and it was kind of like this cool thing. And I'd never really understood the depths and the tragedy that come with it. So having someone on set firsthand to be able to explain to us just what it was like in the most real and raw form was incredibly helpful. And the most amazing thing about Brian is that there was no question that was crossing the line. He was very open, and you could really ask him anything, and he would be comfortable to answer as truthfully as he could. And I think he was an incredibly valuable member of our crew. And I think it would have been a very different process had he not been there. 35
minutes, 40 minutes of a war movie too. And what was that like in shooting those sequences there? That seemed pretty intense.
Yeah, I mean, it was incredibly tough, and it's integral to the story. I learned that I would be the worst soldier in the world. I'm definitely an actor, not that some of the times when I was having to actually perform like medical procedures on people, I just would panic, and I would go into the state of panic, and I'd be like, oh no, we got to cut. We need to. I don't know how to do this. I can't figure it out, even though I did know how to do it. It made me realize how brave the men and women are that go overseas and serve their country, and it makes the film even more impactful when they go through these horrific ordeals and they come home, and the support they get is far less than they should. And I mean, I've always wanted to make a film of that genre, and I'm lucky that I got to do it with the bros. But it's such an important part of this film, and it sets up the kind of the last act of the story we're trying to tell. But that said, it was incredibly tough and equally as rewarding. But I have such a huge amount of respect for the men and women that do that day to day and come home and try and live normal lives. Before we started shooting, I must have interviewed 30 different veterans at the VA. And all of them kind of said that they were trained to be killers, but they weren't trained to become civilians once they'd been there. And that's what our film is about. Our film is about this lack of support, and that addiction is a disease, and people shouldn't be prosecuted for it. People should be helped. And I really hope that people watch this film and they see that message, and they realize that this is a problem that is literally on our doorstep, and something that really needs to be sorted out.